Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am the stepson of Krypton.
And I'm Mantis.
And today we are talking about the release of the newest information. If you can see it behind me, the big, huge fucking 4. That they actually finally. Yes.
Oh, that's a 4. Oh. Sorry, it looks the same.
You see what I have to deal with? This is what I have to work with, people. It's that they finally released the actual confirmed, even on IMDb, who the Fantastic Four are going to be, and it looks like our worst fears have come to light. No, I'm just joking. We did do a video early December about them rebooting, and there was some talk of who at least a couple of the potential members could be. That video didn't apparently a lot of people didn't seem to like our take, or at least my take on who they actually confirmed is going to be Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards.
Yeah. Is this who we thought it was going to be in the other video we did? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think because I remember talking about I liked him in Game of Thrones. But I hated him in Wonder Woman 84.
That black gold would change the world for all of us. And I know you wish that too.
I don't know what it is about him. And part of me, I'm biased because I see all the stupid shit he puts on social media, so I know that's got to be it. Him and Mark Ruffalo, I don't know. We don't agree on politics. But as far as his performance,
yes, your performance, the
performance like sexual,
and yes, sexually,
like sexual.
in movies, I've only kind of really liked him in Game of Thrones, so this does not make me feel good. Like, it really doesn't.
Okay,
maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised.
We haven't said the name yet, so if you don't know who we're referring to, Pedro Pascal. Right. All right, just so in case anybody's lost here. You didn't like him in The Mandalorian?
He was in there for fucking, 2 minutes? You saw his face for 2 goddamn minutes.
He is underneath the mask, though, man. Not as actually him, but his persona is there.
That's what I mean. Like, what are we even doing? like I could voice act that. Like, I don't even know what's happening. Like,
I'm just saying, okay? We got to at least give him the credits. The Jesus. Last of Us? You didn't like him in The Last of Us?
Didn't see it.
Let us know down in the
Should I have watched that? Let me know.
You don't gotta.
Okay, good.
There are some things about it, and personal opinion, guys, let us know down in the comments. Don't get all pissy and shitty because I said this, but there are some things down there, Mantis, you know what I'm talking about, that we have discussed before, that start coming out kind of heavily in there. But go watch it and see what you think. That's all I'm going to say on it. Okay. So you guys, you can't get mad because you don't even know what I was going to say. Boom. Done. Taking care of that. But so Pedro Pascal, yes, has been named as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. Vanessa Kirby, again, if you watched the previous video we talked about Vanessa Kirby, who has been in a couple of the Mission Impossible. She was in Mission Impossible, the new one, The Dead Reckoning. She was in...
You're ready to tell me your real name, Lark? We'll have to do.
It's good to see you, Alana.
And you're Gabriel.
Mission Impossible.
Excellent movies.
Fallout. Yes. Excellent movies. She was in Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw.
Didn't see it, but I know you did.
Good movie for what it was. You just take it on. It's supposed to be kind of outlandish, over the top, like the Fast and Furious movies have become. There's fucking submarines and
look, we've discussed
flying cars.
We've discussed this. Like, I just don't like it. It's not my type of movie, so I don't comment on it. I know it's up your alley, so I'll defer to you on
but good movie. She's done great. So they announced. I'm trying to think of. So Eben Moss Barack, however you want to
Barack.
say his. You said Barack.
Brock.
Oh,
Rock.
I don't say he is going to be the Thing, Ben Grimm, the Thing. He was in 12 episodes of The Punisher as David Lieberman.
I get it. I get it. You want to?
And then, of course, Joseph Quinn. For everybody who knows Stranger Things season 4, he was Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't run away this time, right?
I thought he did a great job
Pretty
as
good
Eddie.
actor.
I liked the character, right? And he is a good actor.
Yeah.
So that is your
Yeah.
lineup. That is who is going to be the Fantastic Four.
I just want to touch on Joseph Quinn because being a
Wait,
guitar
actually,
player
physically
myself,
touch on Joseph Quinn,
No.
or
no, not physically, not physically.
why do I feel like he's going to go to the Master of Puppets thing?
I am. It's not just because it is that, just because I know the dedication that it takes to actually learn that, and he did, and he learned it, and that takes dedication to be able to actually play it on screen and make it look like you're actually playing it. Because I will guarantee you, people that watched that series, specifically that episode, would key in on his fingers and see that he's actually playing the notes the way they should be played, and they would call you on it if he wasn't. So, good on him for learning it, close enough to make it look like he was trying to play what he was playing. So
I will say this:
I'll give him credit on that.
not a music person. Mantis is he's awesome on the guitar, so he definitely picks up on those. But I don't care if it's piano, if it's any other instrument, if it's any other hobby, fucking sport. Nobody gives a shit until it's guitar, and then everybody watches. They're not playing. They're not playing that. You know, I mean, they nitpick it. They will destroy you.
That's what
if
I'm
are
telling you.
taking
He
it
knew.
on guitar. You know,
He knew. He
So-
knew.
and it would have been, yeah, right, because there are people, especially because it's fucking Metallica being played in this epic shot. If you weren't actually playing it, you just do a headshot. You couldn't even show his hands on the guitar
Sure.
because people would be like, nope, that's bullshit.
Sure.
Guitar, for whatever reason, is the worst. People will just shred you, no pun intended, if you aren't actually playing the instrument, but it's filmed like it in an epic scene like that.
So I've had faith in him as Johnny Storm. So
now here's the thing. So if we remember the original Fantastic Four, right? Okay, so we had as Johnny Storm, Human Torch. We had Chris Evans, who becomes Captain America. If we remember the reboot Fantastic Four, we had Michael B. Jordan, who becomes Johnny Storm, Fantastic Four. Now we have Joseph Quinn. Now, let me say this. Obviously, Chris Evans and Michael B. Jordan are top tier, whereas Joseph Quinn is just kind of, he's starting to break out, right? Stranger Things was, I think, one of his first, major things he did. He's breaking out. I love it. He did great in Stranger Things, so I'm glad to see it. But in comparison to the other two, it's two different freaking leagues, right? Now, Chris Evans, I think, did a great job as Johnny Storm. He has that. Chris Evans did a lot of comedy in his earlier days. Not Another Teen Movie.
Janie's got a gun. Janie Briggs got a gun.
He's got a gun!
Janie's got a gun!
He did with Johnny Storm, where he was the ladies' man, but he was funny. He pulled off the role well, I thought. I thought second one just went to shit. Well, actually, I thought both of them. The villain was what just took.
they were both.
Shit. But I thought he did great. And Michael B. Jordan is a great actor, but he's just not right for every part, right? And it pisses me off in movies when oh, I want to put a black guy in there. Well, let's go to Michael B. Jordan or Idris Elba, okay? Neither of them are right for Johnny Storm, right? Just stop, okay? They're great in other movies. It's just because they're super popular as an actor and they're super prominent black actors doesn't mean they have to be cast in this role, right? Joseph Quinn, I'm open to the idea of him being Johnny Storm because he's not really been in a whole lot else. I can only go off Stranger Things. If I go off Stranger Things, yes, I am
Well,
open to the chance of you being Johnny Storm.
well, let me ask a question. It's more of a generalized question with all the actors that they've cast for this. I mean, aside from Pedro Pascal, who is kind of prominent because he's been in a few movies and was in Game of Thrones for a season, like they don't really have any prominent actors that are in this. Like, are they kind of going off of what DC's doing, where they're like, you know what, we're not going to have any great actors that are seasoned and whatever. Like, we're going to kind of reach out to new and upcoming talent.
So here's my thing with that. I want to believe that was kind of the case. Now, if you look at Vanessa Kirby is 46 or 36 years old, right? Emma Moss, however you want to say this, I'm not going to try it. We're just
Fuck, he's 47.
He's 47.
Shit.
Okay. Now
He is not like 47.
he doesn't look 47, but he's 47. So Joseph Quinn's 30. Okay, so now by the time these movies come out, you got to imagine this movie's not slated to come out until July 25th of 2025. So he'll be 48. She'll be 37. Joseph Quinn will be 31. However, Pedro Pascal will be 50. Okay. Reed Richards is the core of the Fantastic Four. Okay. His marriage to Sue Storm and them having a child when they have Franklin Richards in the comics, Franklin Richards is one of the most powerful characters in all of Marvel Comics. Okay. And I said this, and maybe this is what everybody didn't like, the take they didn't like, is that Pedro Pascal, now, if you want to make it like, oh, it's an older Fantastic Four, I get it because of Pedro Pascal and Evan there. They're older. They're both very close to the same age. So you could play it that they're friends. Now, Vanessa Kirby and Joseph Quinn, they're close enough in age that, yes, they could be siblings. And Mr. Fantastic with the Thing, you can play that they were buddies because they are very close to the same age. The problem where I think you're going to run into, and this, again, is probably the unpopular opinion, but you know what? It's my goddamn channel. I don't give a shit. Is Pedro Pascal looks 50. Like, he looks older, whereas
he looks old.
Kirby does not look that old. And, I mean,
I know.
They are, 14, almost 15 years age difference in real life. It's going to show, especially when you get older. It's one thing to have like a 20-year-old and like a 30-something where, you still look youthful. You can see, I mean, I'm 41. You're getting the graying in the beard and the hair and the things like that. Like when you get older, it's a lot harder to pull off that to where it looks, she still looks like she's could be in her 20s, late 20s. He looks 50. That's going to be a weird dynamic to see on screen. Plus, how are you going to make this universe go on? Reed Richards is a very big part of it, right? He's 50. How many more movies is he going to have left in him?
Yeah, just a quick take. Quite frankly, they should have just used John Krasinski.
Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four. Hello, Stephen.
They just should have fucking done it.
I thought he did great.
They just should have done it.
I thought he did great. I was excited.
He didn't have that big of a part, but for what he had, it worked. He looked the part too. Is the thing?
Look the part.
He looks the part. To me, that's the thing. He looks the part. And you're right. He would be closer in age to Vanessa Kirby, and even like I said before, the guy who's playing the Thing looks young. He would be. You could pass it off, but Pedro Pascal just looks. He looks like he's been through the fucking war, like a Vietnam War. He's like a vet. Like, he doesn't look like a young Reed Richards at all.
Maybe unpopular opinion. And anybody watching, if you're at this point in the video, let me know. Mantis, I want to know what your opinion is too. But John Krasinski as Reed Richards, Emily Blunt as Sue Storm. They've done several movies together, being that they're married. I think that could work. I think she could do a pretty decent Sue Storm.
I mean, you could do it. I'd be fine with it. I mean, she looks the part too.
Now, the only thing is, either she has to get rid of the accent, or Joseph Quinn or whoever they would have had as Johnny Storm has to gain an accent. Otherwise, you're like, oh, maybe their parents separated and she was sent to London
Yeah.
because she has a
Yeah.
heavy English accent. It would be a little weird, but like, and they have great, because obviously they're married, but they do have great, like, in A Quiet Place, like they have great chemistry on camera because they're married and they love each other, and they they
I would
seem
think that would work.
do
Yeah,
what?
my opinion would be, I think that would work. And my opinion would be to have Joseph Quinn learn a British accent. I think it's harder to imitate an American accent, and maybe that's just me. But I think it's hard. It would be harder to imitate an American accent than it would be to imitate a British accent.
That, to
So
be
it,
fair, Emily Blunt. Now we talk about Vanessa. Not to cut you off real quick, but Emily Blunt is she. Well, of course, if John Krasinski came into it too, you start kind of like he's pretty well known, and she's very well known. Now she is a prominent actress, right?
yeah,
You don't make the prominent actress change her tone and how she speaks. You make the no-name guy coming in change his, because we all know
I
Emily
guess.
Blunt. You know how she sounds, right? That's what you're
Well, and I
expecting.
guess you would have to put some backstory and whatnot in there of how that happened, and maybe they didn't want to do it. I mean, I don't know, and maybe you don't even have to. Maybe I'm just thinking too deep into it. But because if I was watching the movie, what if they had? This is something that I don't really give a shit about. Like, okay, let's just say they did that. She's got a London accent, and Joseph Quinn is an American accent. I really wouldn't give a fuck. Like, I really would not care. Like, if it was good, I wouldn't care.
To be fair, in the reboot Fantastic Four, Sue Storm was white and Johnny Storm was black. Now I know they played it that he was adopted, but they completely race swapped them. So would I give a fuck about a British or English accent? No. Like, you
Yeah, I really
completely
don't.
race swapped them.
Yeah,
It was so
yeah,
funny to see that. I was like, seriously?
yeah. That's a major plot change, in my opinion. So it's like an accent here and there doesn't bother me. It's
Yeah.
whatever. It's fine.
Again, she maybe she's even fucking just faking it because she spent a couple of years abroad studying, and now she just picked it up. Whatever, you could play it off.
Whatever.
Who cares? Nobody's gonna give it a shit.
Yeah.
But the big thing is, I like Pedro Pascal. I just, again, and it kind of goes back to we've touched on through a lot of our videos, is just because somebody is super popular right now, because he's in The Last of Us, he's in The Mandalorian, he's in all these movies, doesn't mean he's right for every role. Kind of like I said with Michael B.
Sure.
Jordan, Idris Elba, and all them. And it applies to everybody. That is a thing. It's
Sure.
kind of like John Cena is popular right now, right? But I don't want to see him in all these different roles just because he's popular in film. It's what he's right for. And to me, personal opinion, and especially if, like what Mantis said, with like if they're trying to follow what DC's doing with the Superman Legacy and the DCU now, going with really young, starting fresh actors, like being 50 years old, like just why? It's just and him with Vanessa Kirby.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's just going to be a little weird.
Yeah, I would. So I'll wrap it up here because we're getting kind of long on this. But kind of going into what the outlook is. Yeah, there's a under Phase 6, Marvel's taking on the challenge of rebooting films, as Disney plans to heavily lean into franchises in this year and beyond. So, like, even Disney CEO Bob Iger said that Marvel's starting to focus on its strongest franchises moving forward. He says, given that the environment and what it takes to get people out of their homes to see a film, which we talked about in the previous video we just did, doing that and leaning on franchises that people are familiar with is a smart thing. And he's not wrong there.
Any diverse woman in it, make it clap.
But Mrs. Kennedy, Bambi's a baby deer.
Fuck baby deer, put a chicken in, make her gay.
So my only thing is, I don't think it's a wrong move to reboot this. This is the third time that this franchise has been rebooted within 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is. So it's like, 50. Okay. So, I mean, it's like we're going on third try here. You got to get this one right, you know? I don't think it's a bad move. I like the idea of leaning on uh, popular characters that people know and understand. And that gives you a leg up, but it also gives you a narrow target to hit for making it good because you're not going to get the leeway you get with characters people don't know.
So, by the time this releases next year, July, we will be 20 years. It was 2005 when the first Fantastic Four movie came out. We've 20
Yeah.
years
Well.
rebooted a third time. That's where I struggle. You know, we've talked about, and we are actually getting ready to do a whole video on about the superhero fatigue, right? So, not only just superhero movies, but how many times do you want to see one of your favorite, or a group of your favorite superheroes rebooted because they just won't get it right? Right. So, final thoughts
Yeah.
here is Fantastic Four. It's your third try, and I had high hopes. And again, I don't think that it's going to be that Pedro Pascal is going to do a bad job necessarily. I just think that, especially to have multiple movies, it wasn't a great choice. I'm with you. I think like John Krasinski could have been great for it, but this is it for me with Fantastic Four. If you don't get it right this time, I don't give a fuck if you reboot it 3 more times. I'm done. Like, you had your chances. Like, I like Fantastic Four, but to be honest, the main person I like out of the Fantastic Four is Doctor Doom, anyways. So you
I
can
know.
do something
I
else.
know.
So like, I just
I
need your
know.
villain. We can just pluck him
Yeah.
from your fucking universe.
He's
If
like,
you want to
quite
keep doing
frankly, he may be my favorite villain in the
He-
MCU.
it. He is a very, very close, because obviously there's Venom, if you want to call Venom a villain. Venom is one of them. Doctor
Yeah.
Doom's
I
high up there.
mean,
I love Apocalypse.
you're right. This
Apocalypse is probably
movie,
my favorite.
Spare me your petty judgments. They strain from a brain too meager to comprehend my reality. Now taste the power of Apocalypse!
you're right though. It's like literally like, I if the rest of them fuck up, but the villain is fantastic. Like if Doctor Doom's just fucking awesome, then okay. Like
Pluck
I'm there,
him,
right?
pluck him from the
Yeah.
movies. Get rid of the Fantastic Four. We don't need you anymore, because when we talked
Make
about
a Doctor Doom movie, right?
like when we had talked about Phase 6 and what's going to be happening with that, with Secret Wars and stuff. Doctor Doom's heavy in Secret Wars, right?
Yeah.
We don't need the Fantastic Four. We just need your villain. That is the one group, like X-Men. I promise we're done. But X-Men, I love a lot of the characters, but I also love like Apocalypse. I love Magneto and all them. So there's a good give and take. Fantastic Four, I really only want you for your villains. I want Doctor Doom, and give me Galactus really out of your universe. And if you don't want to put out a good movie, I can give a fuck about the rest of you. And maybe I'll give you Silver Surfer, but not this female bullshit you're wanting to do, because that one sucks.
Yeah.
But give me those few, and I can wipe those. So if this movie is going to be dog shit, I just need Doctor Doom to be
Villain's good. Yeah. Yep. I'm with you.
All right, guys. We ran on a little bit longer on this one, as we do. That's just one of those things. But we're still keeping it shorter than before. If you've made it with us this far, I thank you. Please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel for more. Also, I will link in there. Go check out where we talked originally about rebooting the Fantastic Four, and that video. See what you think about it. But let us know down in the comments. Am I completely out of pocket, as the young kids say nowadays? Like, am I crazy for thinking, like, I don't have a problem with anybody they cast, but I just don't think he's right for the role? Like, am I fucking crazy? Let me know, because I need somebody to tell me if I'm insane or not. Mantis isn't doing a good job, apparently, right? So,
I'm sorry, what?
disregard that. So let us know down in the comments what you think. If and maybe you like, do you want to see John Krasinski, or who would you like to be Reed Richards? So, Mantis, unless you have anything else. All right, that's going to do it for us on this one. We will catch you on the next video, guys. Until then, we will see you later.
Later. Oh, shit.
Really? That's what we're doing? Okay.
Did it backwards that time.
You did do it backwards that time. It's going to be weird. Luckily, these are probably going to release like back to back. So people will be like, oh. Not that anybody's staying this long to watch the ending anyways.